You had no chance. So, we're back to, moving on, and I'm happy to be here. I wanted to get back to playing golf no matter what happened Sunday. I had committed that I needed to get back to my own game, and it'd be good for me either way. And, Sunday was not good. Monday was I think hard for a lot of our players. We packed up, and gradually everybody was leaving, and it was emotional saying goodbye to some of the guys, most of the guys, and it was a little surreal. Phil and Amy sat with Robin and I at the elevator. They were the last ones to leave the 9th floor, and we sat there for a half an hour, and I finally realized they just didn't want to leave. They had a big airplane and were going home to see their kids, but they just didn't want to leave. They didn't want it to be over. And I think that's the way most of us felt. It's just hard not to get up Monday morning and put your team clothes on and go play again. So I think we're just sad about that it's over. Obviously, we're stunned by the loss, but I think the team really came together, and you saw that Sunday afternoon, the way they handled it, and I saw it all day Monday. I just got texts from Duffner and Webb Simpson, and they're still pulling together. And I think that's the impressive thing.
Okay, with that, we'll take some questions. Start with Steve.
Davis, for you moving forward now and putting Ryder Cup behind you and getting back to being a tour player, what's going to be the key in making that transition this week to give yourself a chance to play up to your best this week and give yourself an opportunity to win?
First thing is walk out there and hit some balls. I had this fantasy at Wales when I was helping Corey that I was going to get to practice some I was playing the McGladrey Classic the next week, the first one, and we were hosting it, and the week before I was in Wales, and I hit balls maybe twice, and then I did practice some before I went to Chicago, and then Sunday I actually got out on the golf course and played some and hit some balls. And then one day Butch Harmon was watching, I think, Dustin, and Dustin had some extra drivers, and so I got out there and said, this is my chance. And so I started warming up, and Butch was starting to give me a couple tips, and I'd hit 4 or 5, and the phone rang, and the radio went off in my ear, and that was the end of it. I never hit another ball from Wednesday on, but that wasn't my job. I thought it'd be fun to go out there and stand there and hit balls with the guys, but it turns out that even though Wales with Corey was a big experience, I learned a lot. The biggest thing I told Lisa Paven last night was the biggest thing I learned was it's twice as big over here, and there was twice as much work to do. And it was an incredible busy week, but it's going to be hard to go back to normal, but it's going to be fun to get out there and get my own pile of balls and start hitting them.
You've been at this longer than just the cup. You've worked on it for probably a year or longer, so it's really going to seem odd that you don't have to put any attention towards it.
I think I drug out I told Doug I packed up maybe 20 boxes of stuff out of my hotel rooms last night, and then I went down and started helping the ladies that worked in the office. I started helping them pack up their boxes. I just didn't want it to end, and I enjoy the behind the scenes, the support part of it, the getting things done and making it nice for the team. That's why I enjoyed working for Corey. So in reality, I worked with him for 2 or 3 months and during the event, and then it didn't take me 2 months to turn around and know that I was going to be the captain, and then I had to start thinking about it. And mostly in the beginning it was thinking. This year's been a lot of work, and the last 2 or 3 months have been hectic, but that's the 2-year journey that you get to go on. And I'm really, if there's any sadness in the whole thing, I'm sad that it's over because it was so much fun, and I just my heart hurts for the players because they put so much into it and didn't get the result that they wanted. And then unfortunately, what we knew was going to happen is if it got close, they were going to put too much pressure on themselves. And one of the pressures was going to be that they didn't want to let the captain down. Like I didn't want to let Tom Kite down or Ben Crenshaw or Lanny Watkins. And I think in the end, the enormity of it all, and it's almost, we might have been better off tied. We might have played better Sunday if we were tied rather than trying to protect the lead. And, but in the end, I think Dustin Johnson said it best. Everybody's all feeling sorry for themselves. And he goes, man, it's just golf. He said, they knocked in a bunch of putts and ours lipped out. He goes, there's nothing we can do about it. And, that really did sum it up. Sergio's makes an eagle, and the next hole sculls it in the pine straw and then smacks it off the pin, and it goes in. And next thing you know, he wins 2 holes from Furyk. And it just, everybody talks about 17 and 18, but we had things like that. They had, I think, 5, maybe even 6 eagles, on Sunday. And whenever a guy comes out of the box, I saw one of our scorecards, we had a couple birdies in the first 5 holes, and the guy was down because he birdied and another guy eagled. We just didn't have things go our way, and I think then at the end, the guys that we had at the end to try to, just in case something bad happened, they didn't make any putts either, and it was unfortunate situation for all of them to be in. But again, they fought hard. They played great the first 2 days and just had kind of an off day on Sunday.
I don't have too much time to reflect, but is there anything that you've learned about yourself throughout this process that kind of maybe surprised yourself as you think about this past year and even this past weekend stands out in your mind?
Well, I think, what I learned is Rotella has sunk in gradually on me over 25 plus years. And this might have been the best job I did of sticking with a game plan all week. Every time I would waffle a little bit, that's why I had Scott Verplank and Jeff Sluman and my assistants. Every time I'd go, hey, you know what? They want me to sit Keegan and Phil doesn't want to sit, and doesn't want to play. He says he's done and stick with the plan. But I could put Keegan with this. We could start, and they go, no, stick with your plan. The plan's working. We're way ahead. Put Dustin and Cooch back in. Put Tiger and Strick back in, just like he planned on it. They're ready to go. And I learned that, on the golf course, I think one of the things that hurts me is that I don't stick with it. I don't stay committed. I get out of my plan. Tiger and I talked about it Sunday morning about, how important doing the same thing over and over and over is. And I saw it in him. He played really well in the back nine a couple of matches because he finally got into just hitting the ball at the flag rather than working on his golf swing. And I think I do that. We all do it. But I think that week we had a plan and we stuck with it. And I learned that I can be a little bit more committed. I can be a little tougher. I stood up to a couple things last week that, you get criticized in the press because I was being too nice and letting them do what they wanted to do. I guarantee you Tiger Woods didn't want to sit out, and there was a lot of guys on our team that said, do not take Keegan and Phil out, but if you make them go play when they don't want to play, they're probably not going to play well. I've been put in that situation too. And they say, well, you could have sat down over lunch and talked to everybody. Well, you don't get that luxury. You have to turn in your tee times while they're still on the golf course. And the plan was set. I actually rode out to 10, popped under the ropes, and as soon as Phil saw me, he ran over and said, don't even think about it. He knew why I was there. I wasn't there to watch. He was winning, I was there to see if I could talk to Bones and see if they would play. And he said no, but the domino effect from that is that you got to sit somebody if you put Keegan and Phil back in. Well, I had sat Cooch and Dustin twice. If there's anything that, to me, that didn't look very smart, is sitting Dustin and Cooch. They didn't play an alternate shot match. So, everybody watches sports on TV and thinks they know how they could have done it better. And in our team room, everybody was sold on it, and pretty much when we were up by 4, nobody was arguing very much. And I know they weren't arguing with Mark James either when he was 4 up, but then something bad happens, it gets turned around. And that's my job. That's why I signed up for it. I said right from the beginning, I know I'm going to be in the same boat as Lanny or Tom or any captain that lost. I thought Tom Kite did a phenomenal job, but he lost because Tiger and Davis and Justin didn't play any good. And then his plan was wrong. Well, his plan was 3 major winners would probably get him a whole bunch of points, and they didn't. And that's kind of what happened to us. My plan was I had Brandt Snedeker and Jim Furyk and guys that putted really, really well. I didn't plan on the Europeans putting like Brandt Snedeker, and they did it down the stretch, and we didn't. And that was ultimately the difference.
Davis, in the case of moving forward, why this
this week, would you easily take a week off after all the pressure you had to deal with, all the media stuff you had to deal with, not only just last week, but in the weeks leading up to the wrapping up?
Well, I missed the cut at Barclays, and I realized how much I'd been putting into it mentally. You know, physically, I'm used to doing stuff, you know, on and off the golf course. But mentally, I'd been putting so much into it that I think now that it's over, that I don't have to be, you know, worried about making picks or worried about making pairings or coming up with a plan. You know, the plan didn't just come to us Monday night at Medina. You know, we've been working on this for months and months and months, talking to Paul Azinger, as I said in the press there, over and over and over again. So I think the mental grind of it caught up with me. Now that we actually played it, I want to go back to playing. I've been off since Barclays. Those guys have been playing in the FedEx Cup and in the Ryder Cup. I've been sitting there watching, so I'm ready to start playing. Might not be very good this week, but then maybe by Fry's. You know, I got a big match come Tuesday as well. I'm playing with Freddie and Bubba and Ricky in Pebble Beach, and then I got to play the Fry's, and then, you know, basically a major for me at home. So I need to get ready.
Davis, I just got a phone with Nick Watney, and he said he respected your decision to not put him on the team. Looking back on it, is that something now that you could say maybe we could have used Nick Watney for, you know, whatever, given his ability to?
Well, yeah, we could have picked Nick and Bill and Hunter and Ricky. We could have picked a whole different four. But again, we had months and months of a plan that we talked to everybody on the team. Everybody was involved, and we made some pairings really, really early. And my plan was we'd never really play well the first 2 days. We always get behind. We get behind the first segment. We start trying too hard. We get behind after one day. We start trying to play catch up. We rely on singles. And the pairings were, I mean, the picks were made and the pairings were made all based on my taking Paul Azinger's plan. And then once I got into who was making the team, it shrunk to two-man teams rather than four-man teams. And I didn't have to do a whole lot of personality profiling because I knew the guys. My Sunday lineup, if you go back and look at it, was based on the guys that played together and where we needed them in the lineup. Tiger and Strick could still practice and eat and prepare together. The first four could still prepare together. So it was all a plan, and it didn't work. So ultimately, it's my responsibility for not putting them in a position on Sunday to win. But the picks were based on that. And, you know, we knew we had Bubba and Webb as a team, but we had to make some other teams. Jim Furyk, great alternate shot player, loves alternate shot. Great putter, and Brandt Snedeker. You know, everything was kind of calculated. Now, Jim fell into the plan late with Brandt, but he agreed to it. And, you know, Steve Stricker was is the number 10 player in the world. It's not like we took a chance on a guy. And, you know, you could have picked Fred Couples, and maybe he would have played good, maybe he wouldn't have. But we weren't really taking a chance with, you know, FedEx Cup champions. And, you know, obviously Brandt played good after we picked him, but he was playing really well before. And, you know, we just went with what we thought was best. And it's been said before, our team agreed on everything we did. They know, like Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods, they know that they got to do what ultimately they agreed to do, not what I told them to do. And I'm happy with the decision. Now, I love Ricky Fowler and Hunter Mahan and Nick Watney and Bill Haas, and they are the future of the Ryder Cup. And sure, maybe they would have done better. But I love the team I had, and they gave it their all. And most importantly, they represented their country on and off the golf course. So Jose Maria said it best, that America can be proud of that team. And we could take our next 12 and do really well too. So it's hard to say what the right thing to do is.
Okay, well, Davis, we sure appreciate you taking the time
All
to
right.
come in and visit with us for a
Thank
few
you.
minutes, and best of luck this week.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna stretch.